The tires of my silver Honda CR-V screamed against the hot asphalt as I swerved sharply into the parking lot of Grace Community Church on South Lamar Boulevard in Austin. My chest heaved with each ragged breath, the fresh stitches from delivery pulling painfully with every movement. Less than 2 hours earlier, I'd been pushing in a delivery room at Seton Medical Center, sweat-soaked and exhausted, bringing my daughter Olivia into the world. Now here I was, still wearing the thin hospital gown beneath Jake's oversized jacket, the 4 bruise on my arm throbbing like a reminder of everything unraveling. The afternoon sun glared off the windshield, momentarily blinding me as I slammed the car into park. Pastor Ellis stood on the wide stone steps, his kind face etched with worry. Beside him, clutching a worn stuffed dinosaur to his chest, was my 7-year-old son Ethan. Tears carved clean tracks down his dusty cheeks. "Ethan," my voice broke as I shoved the door open and half stumbled, half ran toward him. He saw me and his small face crumpled completely. He bolted down the steps, dinosaur bouncing wildly, and crashed into my arms. I sank to my knees right there on the concrete, ignoring the sharp bite through the gown, and pulled him against me as tightly as I dared. His little body shook with sobs.
"Mommy.
Grandma and Grandpa said you didn't want me anymore. They said you picked the new baby instead and told them to take me away forever." Those words landed like punches to the gut. White-hot fury surged through the haze of postpartum fog, momentarily drowning out the ache in my abdomen and the raw exhaustion. I drew back just enough to cup his face, brushing away tears with my thumbs. "Sweetheart, listen to me. That is not true. Not one single word. I love you more than life itself. I would never, ever choose anyone over you." He searched my eyes, still trembling. I pressed my forehead to his, breathing in the faint scent of his baby shampoo mixed with church mustiness. Hours earlier, everything had felt so different. Contractions had ripped through me like fire. The nurse had checked and announced I was fully dilated, crowning imminent. I'd grabbed my phone despite the pain, dialing my parents. "Mom," I gasped between waves. "I'm crowning. Evan's flight from Chicago got delayed in traffic. Can you please pick Ethan up from school?" "Of course, honey," Mom had replied, her tone strangely flat. "Don't worry about a thing." Now Pastor Ellis approached cautiously. "Mrs.
Hayes.
Your parents dropped Ethan off about an hour ago. They mentioned a family emergency and asked us to watch him until someone arrived. They didn't say." His gaze dropped to my gown. The obvious postpartum signs. "Would you like to see the security footage?" My nursing instincts kicked in hard. Evidence. Documentation. Proof. Inside the quiet church office, Ethan sat with a secretary sipping juice and nibbling cookies, his dinosaur never leaving his lap. I stood behind Pastor Ellis as he pulled up the black and white feed. Timestamp: 2:17 p.m. My parents' gray Buick pulled to the curb. Dad climbed out, opened the back door. Ethan emerged with backpack and dinosaur. No hug. No words of comfort. Dad simply guided him toward the steps with a firm hand on his shoulder, exchanged a few clipped words with Pastor Ellis, then returned to the car. They drove off without looking back. My fingers shook as I dialed Mom. One ring, then disconnected. Again straight to voicemail. Dad's phone, same. They'd blocked me. A text notification buzzed from Dad's number. "You picked money over family. Now, you know what it feels like to lose one." The room tilted. Money. The $55,000 Tyler had begged for his struggling app development startup. The money Jake and I didn't have without draining Ethan's college savings and Olivia's delivery fund. My phone rang. "Jake. I've got Olivia. Nurses are panicking." "Where are you?" His voice was tight with fear. "Grace Community Church." My parents abandoned Ethan here. Told him I didn't want him anymore. A sharp breath. I'm on my way. 20 minutes. When Jake's SUV pulled up, he rushed in carrying our tiny newborn wrapped in a hospital blanket. He handed Olivia to me gently, then knelt to envelop Ethan in a bear hug. I stood there in the foyer, gown stained, daughter in my arms, husband comforting our devastated son, and felt the earthquake inside me shift. All those years making excuses for my parents' criticism, their guilt trips, their endless demands for family loyalty. Looking at Ethan's tear-streaked face and Olivia's peaceful one, I whispered fiercely to them both. No one will ever hurt you like this again. Not even family. Some betrayals cut too deep for forgiveness. Some calls to a lawyer were long overdue. Back in our cozy Mueller neighborhood home, the early sunlight did little to chase the chill that had settled deep in my bones. I rocked Olivia against my chest, her tiny fist curled around my finger, while watching Ethan at the coffee table. He hunched over crayons, gripped too tight, drawing in unnerving silence for a 7-year-old. Want apple slices? Buddy. He shook his head, blue crayon snapping in his fist. At the kitchen table, Jake muttered under his breath, papers and laptop glowing blue on his face. His jaw clenched beneath stubble. Lauren, come look. I settled Olivia in her bassinet and crossed over. His finger traced red numbers on the spreadsheet. $16,500. That's what we've handed Tyler over the last 4 years. My stomach plummeted. Truck loans $7,000. Business investments $5,000 here and there. Memories flooded. Tyler's desperate late-night calls. Dad's lectures about helping blood. Mom's sighs about my selfish choices refusing more. 3 weeks ago, Tyler had stood in this exact kitchen, cap twisted in white-knuckled hands, eyes bloodshot. 55 grand. Lauren. The startup's on the edge. But this cash injection. Tyler. That's Ethan's future and Olivia's delivery costs. We can't. His face had hardened. If you don't, I'll tell Mom and Dad you've abandoned the family again. Jake pointed to another file. Did you know your parents co-signed Tyler's apartment lease and his new truck? The landline shrilled. Jake hit speaker without checking. How dare you choose money over your brother's future? Dad's voice boomed. Jake lunged for volume as I glanced at Ethan, frozen mid-stroke. Robert. Not now, Jake said tightly. Dad continued hammering. Mom's blood pressure. Everything they'd sacrificed. I punched disconnect. Silence pulsed. Ethan hadn't moved. It's okay. Honey, I said softly, though his eyes said he no longer believed. Jake returned from his office. Jaw set. My parents are driving down from Dallas. They'll be here tomorrow. Relief washed over me. George and Mary, with their steady kindness and healthy boundaries, were exactly the support we needed. Sarah from work gave me Jennifer Cole's number, the lawyer who helped her cousin with a restraining order. I rocked Olivia. Who fussed? Attorney for what? For whatever it takes to protect our family. Jake's tone left no argument. Next morning in Jennifer Cole's sleek office, law degrees lining the walls, I twisted my wedding band nervously. Jennifer reviewed notes sharply. Your parents abandoned your 7-year-old at church while you were in active labor. Told him you didn't want him. Now demand access and pressure about loans to your brother. The plain facts hit like blows. They're my parents, I whispered bitterly. Jennifer's eyes met mine like scalpels. Family is complicated. But this crosses every line a loving grandparent shouldn't. She outlined restraining orders, supervised visitation, documentation. Each option terrified yet empowered me. On the drive home, Jake squeezed my hand across the console. Whatever you choose, I'm with you. I stared at the Texas sky, thinking of Ethan's drawings, Olivia's trust, my parents' willingness to weaponize a child's safety. When does loyalty become a prison? Jake's profile was resolute. When it hurts the family you built. The pounding on our front door thundered like a storm. I froze. Bottle halfway to Olivia's lips. 3 weeks postpartum. First morning without Ethan waking crying. Open up. Lauren, Dad boomed. Olivia's face crumpled. Jake moved swiftly from his office. Face hardening. Through the window. Neighbors watched Mrs. Patel across the street. The Thompsons pausing gardening. Your phone broken? Dad stood hands on hips.
Flushed.
Mom hovered behind, red-eyed, clutching her purse. You're not welcome, Jake said low, hand slipping to pocket with phone. I stepped beside him. Olivia secure.
Leave.
We have rights as grandparents. Dad's voice carried down the block. We didn't abandon him. We left him with the pastor. You're twisting it. Behind me. Floorboard creaked. Ethan stood in hallway, eyes wide. Dinosaur clutched. Go to your room. Sweetie. Grown-up talk. He nodded. Door clicking shut. Dad jabbed a finger. Irrational. Emotional. This is about the money Tyler needed. The $55,000 we don't have without emptying the kids' accounts? Mom stepped forward, tears flowing. After everything we've sacrificed, clarity crystallized. What you call sacrifice, I call control. What you did to Ethan was abandonment. Dad's voice dropped dangerously. Ungrateful. We gave everything. You gave expectations.
Guilt.
Never measuring up. We're leaving, Mom announced coldly. But this isn't over. Jake pulled his phone out. Actually, we recorded this. Texas, one-party consent. Leave before police. They retreated whispering. Neighbors stared openly. I collapsed on the couch. Hands shaking. The campaign starts now.
Jake sat beside me.
They'll paint me as terrible. Keeping grandkids away over money. By afternoon, texts flooded. Cousins, aunts questioning my mental state. Postpartum depression hints. Mom's Facebook post, heartbroken. Cruel daughters separating family. Doorbell. Jake checked. My parents. George and Mary arrived with suitcases. Concern-lined faces. Mary took Olivia immediately. George clapped Jake's shoulder. Real family shows up unconditionally. Their presence unlocked gratitude. This was what parents should be. That night, thunderstorm cracked. I checked baby monitor. Then Ethan's room, empty. Panic surged until closet door ajar. He curled inside. Dinosaur clutched. Tears streaming. Hiding in case they take me. My heart shattered. I gathered him. Never happening. Promise. He nodded. Tomorrow. Special doctor for scary feelings. Next day.
Dr.
Ramirez's colorful office. Ethan drew at small table. Therapist pointed quietly. Clear abandonment trauma. Positioned alone in drawings. Can you help?
Yes.
Documenting for attorney. Evening. Jennifer spread evidence. Hospital records. Footage stills.
Dr.
Ramirez notes. Reverend Ellis statement. Bank records of support to Tyler. Solid case for emotional manipulation pattern. My phone pinged. Sarah sent GoFundMe link. Parents raising funds claiming cruel daughter. Over $2,500. Final hesitation snapped. I'm done being manipulated. Take it all the way. Monday in Jennifer's conference room smelled of lemon polish and resolve. We arranged timeline. Hospital discharge 2:03 p.m. Abandonment 2:17 p.m. Footage enhanced timestamp confirmed.
Damning, Jennifer said.
Medical records. Psychological eval noting anxiety. Sleep issues. Financials showed consistent support undermining selfishness claims. Reverend statement. Recordings. Filing emergency restraining order today. Hearing Thursday. Thursday courthouse loomed under bruised sky. Parents arrived with attorney. Tyler trailing hunched. Mom straightened spine spotting me. They looked like strangers now. Their lawyer painted me vindictive. Grudge holding. Jennifer calmly played footage. Displayed records. Active labor. Abandoned grandson after telling him mother didn't want him. Judge reviewed evaluations. Statements. Granted temporary restraining order. No contact pending final hearing. Mom crumpled theatrically. Dad turned to stone. In hallway, Tyler approached hollow-eyed. They pressured me on the $55K. Business failing. I was their pawn to force you. Blow landed hard. Set up so you'd refuse. Then punish you. He offered to testify. Control slipping with your independence. Exhaustion and regret in his eyes. I searched for deceit. Found genuine shift. Next week. Jennifer prepped me. They'll provoke. Don't engage. Hallway buzzed. Parents entered with spectacle. Uncle Walter in wheelchair oxygen tank. Aunt Louise arthritic with rosary. Elderly cousins trailing wounded righteousness. Subtle sympathy play. Justin wait. Tyler took stand. Voice strengthening. Parents weaponized money and obligation for years. Love conditional. Greer, Lauren expected perfection. I allowed repeated failure. Lawyer attacked. You borrowed thousands, testimony bought. Tyler squared shoulders. That's why it means more, truth over debt. Exhibit. Dad's text magnified.
Gasps.
Uncle Walter removed mask staring. Aunt Louise's beads clattered. Dad on stand boomed, tough love. Teaching responsibility. Jennifer sharpened. By abandoning frightened child during birth? Discipline. Judge rubbed nose after 30 years. Rarely seen such callous disregard. Ruling hammered down. 12 months probation. $20,000 fines each. 3-year restraining order barring contact with minors. Mom sobbed theatrically. Dad scarlet. Vein pulsing. Judge invited statement. I stood steady. Family isn't a weapon. Love unconditional. My children deserve better than conditional loyalty I endured. Outside. Reporters clustered. Parents pushed toward car. I called. Wait. Hope flashed. I descended steps. You taught me what family isn't. Final lesson. Mom reached. Lauren. Please. Word felt cleansing. It's over. Aunt Louise approached with Walker. No idea. Sorry we believed them. Uncle Walter nodded. Should have asked you. Jake took my hand. Tyler handed envelope. First repayment installment. Pay every penny. Be the brother you deserve. Sun broke through. Weight lifted. Road ahead mine. Let's go home. Children waiting. 6 months later. Early sun striped kitchen blinds. Scrubs crisp. Day shift novelty. Ethan's bright laughter rang from living room. Sound once thought lost.
Mom.
Grandpa George says I can help with bird feeder after breakfast. I poured batter. Aroma rising. Save energy for homework. Jake appeared. Olivia on shoulder. Formula spattered Longhorn's tea.
Kissed my neck.
Conference at 10. Then I'll take her so you nap. Doorbell. George and Mary bustled in with groceries. Smiles. Rented nearby to be proper grandparents. Mary took Olivia. George engaged Ethan on model planes. This warmth. Unconditional support. What family should feel. Phone. Tyler text confirming Sunday dinner. Decals for Ethan. He visits monthly. Check in hand. Steady dispatch job. Backyard. Untangling copper wind chimes under pecan tree. Sarah helped with grill. Beautiful. How's new nurse? Better after boundaries with parents. Sometimes strongest is walking away. Chimes tinkled in breeze. Through window, George setting table with Ethan. Mary bouncing Olivia. Jake arranging dishes. Tyler arriving with package. Childhood dinners tense with obligation. Conditional love. Now true family stood by through storms. Wind chimes sang. Family isn't blood, it's who remains when storms pass. Helping hang chimes in following sunshine. Protecting mine was hardest yet right call. Wounds from those meant to love deepest heal slowest. But here, in Texas breeze, peace rang clear.